took the decision on his own.
Okay. Do you think that was correct?
One would have thought such a decision would have been canvassed with the accounting officer.
Come again?
One would have thought that that decision would have been discussed or taken through consultation with the accounting officer.
All right. Let's go back to that one now. When Matlala was given this tender through a new company, what did your office do? Or what did you do? Since you've picked up the thing, you are the one who picked up this irregularities, right?
I indicated that a report was given to me to say this is possible irregular expenditure. My responsibilities will then unfold as follows. I recorded this and reported it accordingly in terms of the books of SAPS, and it was duly audited by the external auditors. After cancellation, we then also instructed my office to stop payments in this regard.
Okay. Please recommend to us, what should the Parliament recommend when it comes to general fund? What should we do more fund?
Those that would have been responsible for these lapses must be held to account.
Must be held to account?
Yes.
What would you recommend to us? Angene venini noma simlethela eKgosi Mampuru simshiye la or
It will depend on the outcome of the investigations and its recommendations.
Okay. In your tenure as CFO, has anybody been arrested? In your tenure as CFO, has anybody been arrested or found to have misused money, abused overtime money and all those? Has anybody been arrested or fired or dismissed?
There are arrests that continuously take place. There's recently a brigadier and another official who were arrested. They previously worked in supply chain management, and then they were suspended. So those arrests, as well as those disciplinary processes, are processes that are normally unfolding. If an investigation has been concluded and it has found that those relevant officials were responsible.
I'm almost done, ma'am. 2021, during the COVID time, COVID-19, two officers come to you. Actually, they spoke to you on a virtual meeting regarding the misuse and the abuse of overtime in the PPS. Have you fixed the issues of overtime abuse in the PPS?
I cannot recall the meeting that the member is referring to, Chair. The issues of overtime within Program 5 are issues that we continuously discuss between ourselves, the program managers, the accounting officer, and also looking at the issues of sustainability in this particular regard. We have discussions with Treasury in this regard, and all of us are aware of the pressures that talks to the overtime within that environment, and that it needs to be fixed. So it's a matter that almost all of us are continuously discussing to find long-lasting and sustainable solutions to curtail as well as contain overtime costs within that program.
So since 2021, discussing that misuse of abuse, the abuse of overtime.
I am saying this is a matter that is receiving attention.
From 2021. Let me remind you of this meeting. First, let me start here. These two officers came to you and reported that in the protection services, the PPS, there is abuse of overtime money during the COVID time. Your answer to them was, you don't want to involve yourself in politics.
Who are those members, Chair? I cannot recall this
I will give you their names in writing.
I cannot recall this meeting, and I am not aware of this meeting.
Okay, let's go exactly where you recall and remember. You're saying now, since these members reported this member to you on 2021, how long in your knowledge have you been discussing this matter?
Chair, I cannot recall the meeting. I am saying...
Disregard the meeting. How long in your knowledge have you been discussing indaba ye abuse ye overtime lapha ya ku PPS?
Chair, we know that overtime is a cost driver within Program 5. We are continuously looking for ways to ensure that we sustain that program in terms of
General,
this
I am
cost
a
driver.
very fair person. Let me do this. What are you continuously doing? Let me give you your own question so that you can answer it. Then you come back to mine. What are you continuously doing?
For example, we have had discussions in terms of the possible review of the policy. We have also made submissions and discussions in terms of the areas that we believe that the current existing policies could be improved to ensure that then we sustain
Thank you very much,
the
General. Let's cut
overtime.
it there. That would have been the question to your answer. I was fair, I gave you your own question to your own answer. Can you answer my question? How long have you been discussing the misuse or the abuse of overtime money in the PBS?
Chair, overtime that is utilized in that particular program, it's overtime, it is a cost driver. When you say discussing abuse, we don't gather around the table and discuss abuse. We discuss in terms of what are the cost containment as well as efficiencies that we can put in place to ensure that we sustain the cost of overtime, which is a cost driver in those environments. We discuss with the program managers, the accounting officer. We have even made...
How long do you take to fix this zinto as moshakalayo? Because remember, by the time you guys take long to fix this thing, if these people reported 2021 and you are failing to answer me in your own knowledge, how long have you and your leaders been discussing issue of abuse?
Chair, I'm
I
not
want
aware.
to know how long.
Chair, I'm not aware of this meeting.
Okay, you're
So I
meeting.
cannot talk about this
Meeting. But how long? How long have you guys discussing the misuse of that overtime money?
Chair, we continuously
When maybe
look at ways
from.
to put efficiencies in terms of managing this cost driver, which is
Okay, in
overtime
order to
within
continue, you
program
must start
5.
somewhere. From where? From when did you start discussing such?
Chair,
Since you've
I
been a
took
CFO.
over as CFO in 2019.
So since 2019, you've
We
been discussing this
monitor,
matter.
we put cost containment, we communicate, we ensure that the managers are then held responsible.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to this last question. General Wali Rode, Yamas.
Yes.
He was advised not to buy 2 cars that were not office spec of VIP protection vehicle. Do you know of that story?
No, I do not know, Chair.
Okay, I may put it on record that it was in your tenure.
Sorry.
I'm going to tell you, ne? Please go do something about it. What I'm going to tell you. Please go
The
do something
voice
about
is
it.
a bit soft. I struggle to hear.
Okay. This is information I'm giving you, and I want you to come back to me in writing what are you going to do or zoyenzan, right? General Wali Rode bought 2 cars from a company in Pretoria, and he was advised not to do so. These 2 cars didn't meet the spec of VIP protection vehicles, but he continued to do so. Since I've told you now, on the top of your head, what are you going to do about it, or should I wait for the letter?
I'm not certain who would have advised. It is a matter that I'm not aware of, Chair.
Okay.
It is a matter that one could follow up.
All right, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Shongwe. General, thank you so much. All the speakers have been given an opportunity to ask their questions to you. Allocated maximum time, they have asked you questions. The very last session of this proceedings today is for me sitting here as the chair to check with honorable members, those who want to ask you follow-up questions, to raise their hands now. Okay. When I recognize you, you will lower the hand. Honorable Matthys, you will be number 1. Honorable Nomvalo, number 2. Honorable Skosana, number 3. Honorable Sanguni, number 4. Honorable Mwango, number 5. Honorable Sols, number 6. And the last hand is that of Honorable James. Yeah, I'm coming to the question before you ask the question. Can I check if there is any honorable member who may be put?
The DA members, all they did, they came here and left a filthy place here. I don't understand how these DA people work. Dirty, they come to prison and make it dirty and leave.
And the chair, we
So
are
I don't know if we have an apology about this.
I will explain that before we close the proceedings.
Chair, while you are going to explain, please explain what last night they slept while you were on a meeting at the A. They slept, we finished the meeting while they were sleeping. Again, when Honorable came here, she was sleeping during the meeting. Then they left early to sleep. Chair, please attend to the sleeping.
Okay. So we have 8 members who want to ask follow-up questions. Less than 3 minutes each. There is nobody who goes beyond 3 minutes, and honorable members, it is not debatable. And you know when a player remonstrates with the referee after the whistle has been blown, you are inviting a yellow card to yourself. Honorable Matthews.
Start again, Chair. Thank you. Are we starting again? Thank you. Lieutenant General, what informs the security threat? And you know we were not going to let this go about the EFF, the amount of money that was allocated to a protest, which is covered in the Constitution. Every citizen, any political party, any movement has a right to protest. So for you to agree to this amount of money to be allocated, what was the security threat and what was it based on? Because EFF, we've been in existence since 2013. Never ever has there been any criminality, and we are an organization in the streets all the time.
I indicated that while I oversee financial operations, it is crucial to understand that my role does not extend to operational decisions. There are those that are responsible for operations in the organization.
Okay.
There are those that are responsible.
I'm being sabotaged by the GNU now.
Just a moment. Honorable Matthews, may you please have your microphone on?
Okay.
And I'm reminding you for the last time, I'm not going to compensate any time that is
No,
lost
Chair, but
when
it's
the
not my
microphone
fault
is
that
off.
the
Thank
committee
you.
can't provide proper resources. No, you answered that question, CFO. I'm asking something specific. I'm saying when it comes to you, what do you need to know before you make a decision that this is a reasonable amount, not getting involved in operations? 470 million rand for a one-day protest, peaceful organization.
There is an operational plan that would have been crafted, taking into account.
No.
I would have a request in front of me to say there is an operation that is taking place. It requires support at this particular level. And I have got no reason not to trust what would have informed those operational decisions.
Then CFO, it's like you're the bookkeeper because you're not asking hard questions. So you just get a report and then you just pay. I also just want to talk quickly about proof of payments, right? There was a concern that there was proof of payments that were generated from your office, right? And then we had individuals who were not SAPS members that were using these POPs to approach service providers. Are you aware of that? It was...
I'm not aware, and I believe I do have faith in my office that the members working in my office.
So there was no proof of payments
done. Okay. I have heard during consultation that there was a brigadier that would have engaged in that exercise, and I can confirm that that brigadier does not work in my office.
So how would they have gotten the POP?
Sorry?
How would they have gotten the POP?
I have got no idea. The
But it's from your office. Are you still investigating?
The brigadier is not in my office. This is a part and parcel of the ongoing investigation.
Okay. Hey, okay, it feels like we have gotten into the same vibe as Lieutenant General Fani with don't know and not responsible, but thank you, CFO.
You still had 1 minute left. Are you done? Okay. Next, Honorable Number.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. General, not in the context of the...
If there is an indication to say there is poor service, as I indicated, and those that would have requested these services and would have attested to say they have received the service in the correct quantity and time. And
No,
so
I can't
on,
hear
so
you properly.
I'm saying the certification of the services that were provided is done by those that would have requested these services in terms of the end user. If they certify that I requested this service, I have received this particular service, and they then certify and they upload these invoices in the system. If it is found that they did these certifications incorrectly and they participated in unethical conduct.
Yeah, no. All that process has been satisfied, and the determination that has been made is that the service was poor. Poor service, irregular appointment, can there be value for money? Please don't explain the process because I've got limited time.
Irregular expenditure is expenditure incurred in contravention to supply chain processes. The service provider renders the service. The end user certifies that the service was rendered. They upload the invoices. I'm saying if that certification was fraudulent, we need to get to the bottom of this. That is what I'm saying.
But I'm not getting a direct response. I mean, a determination has been made that the service was poor.
The determination test confirmed that this contract was awarded in contravention with supply chain processes and thereby making it irregular, an irregular award.
Okay, then the EFF national shutdown took 1 day. The July unrest took almost a month, if my memory serves me well. And the amount spent in the July cost 400 and something million. And the unrest, which took almost a month, cost 900 and something million. Maybe there's something wrong with my mathematics.
These are the cost of public order duties that we perform in this country. So these are some of the, sometimes we call them diversions, where our resources are diverted to go deal with such public order.
No, but maybe my question is the curation not impactful? The curation of the service, or the curation of the, in this context, of the national shutdown, does it not have an impact that this one was 1 day and therefore the cost can't reach a certain amount?
Chair, I rely on the operational environments. They would have applied their minds, they would have done a threat assessment, and they would have come to a conclusion to say the security plan must be executed in this fashion, and it must be supported with this kind of resources.
So it makes sense to you, CFO, that the shutdown, the national shutdown of the EFF cost 400 and something million, and it took only 1 day, whereas the July unrest took almost a month, but it cost 900 and something million. So that makes sense according to you.
Chair, as I indicated, the operational environments will be best suited to deal with this. The July unrest, my understanding would be, it was more prevalent in a bit of more than one province, and you needed to then support those provinces with additional manpower in this regard. And when you then deploy additional...
May you please stop speaking. Honorable Kgosi.
Thank you, Chair. CFO, do you still remember, you know, why we are so inquisitive about this matter? Do you still remember that we had an issue with PPEs? Do you still remember that?
Yes.
We had an irregular expenditure of 1.6 billion at SAPS. Do you remember that?
There was an issue on PPEs, Chair.
CFO, I'm putting figures. 1.6 billion irregular expenditure, which was found at South African Police Service. Do you agree with me on that?
Chair, I cannot recall the figure from the top of my head, but I do know that there was an issue of irregular expenditure surrounding the PPEs.
And do you still remember that there were some verbal approvals of millions of rands during the COVID period? Do you remember that?
Verbal approvals from who, Chair?
I'm talking about SAPS here. And remember, we are the CFO. Now, I'm saying all these monies which were paid, I don't want to name companies because it would be like I'm starting afresh. I'm just saying to you that our concern as members of of the taxpayers' money, it's not something personal. Hence, I'm reminding you that is not the first time. It's not only about this Kate Matlala's tender, which invokes all what I'm talking about now, to say, under your watch, there was this issue of PPEs, which it was found by the AG, no, not me, that it was irregular. So what I'm asking you, do you agree? And I said to you that the issue as well was that some of these tenders, there was verbal agreement.
Chair, at the time
Verbal
of procurement surrounding the PPEs, I did not participate in those committees, as I have indicated, Chair. I have indicated that there is a culture in the organization that we must deal with to ensure that there's real consequences so that it serves as a deterrent. But during the era where procurement was made in terms of PPEs, I did not serve in any of the structure that
No, I understand
anyone
that.
Verbal authorization and so
I
on and so
understand
on.
that, CFO.
My understanding, Chair, is that investigations have been made and there have been relevant reportings. I did not participate and I did not give
but CFO.
anyone verbal authorization in this.
But CFO, have you paid for all those invoices? Who paid the invoices?
The invoices, as I indicated, there's a policy that governs the payment of service providers. At the end, if the end user has certified that I've received services and they load those in,
which people did not even work for. Ghost, what they call them, ghost invoices, because of what they send to you. If you don't satisfy yourself that those invoices are proper.
Chair, SAPS is a national department. It has a policy, and that policy provides for necessary safeguards.
Yeah, but wait,
safeguard
CFO, let me end by saying to you.
All of you is now me speaking now. You stop speaking. Next, Honorable Sangon.
The benevolent is gone. The benevolent is gone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. CFO, you know, you've really spent a lot of time explaining to us the reporting lines, explaining to us the policies. We get it. We honestly get it. And I want to repeat what I said to you, that we're not trying to get you. Ne? But why is it that when it comes to areas that you should be accountable for, and I was looking at your statement where you list your responsibilities, and this is what I'm following up on the national shutdown, you don't know, it's operational decisions. What role do you play except for just signing off the money? On the issue of procurement, you don't know, it's somebody else. So what you do is sign off the money. Is the money safe then, CFO, if you don't apply?
It is very safe.
Can I finish,
Chair.
CFO, if you don't mind? Sorry. So that's the question, and I don't want to come back again. I want for you to just clarify on the issue that Honorable Shongwe was raising on overtime. You approved 1st of April to July 2025, 13.2 million rand for overtime for a period of 3 months, right?
For that to confirm if funds are available when those funding requests come to my table. The final approval is done by the accounting officer. Having taken into account the decisions in terms of operations and the plans and the threats, as well as those operational discussions that would have taken place. The submission comes to me to confirm if funds are available. And Chair and the committee, I can give you comfort that the SAPS funding is safe. To this end, we have not incurred any unauthorized expenditure. There are necessary safeguards. The problem comes in when individual officials go out of their way to then override controls and engage themselves in a wrong behavior. When we pick up that there is deliberate override of controls, of course, we do take the necessary steps in this regard.
Sorry, DDG. So are you saying to us, your only responsibility is to say, yes, there's money, no, there's no money. As a DDG, sorry, Lieutenant General, you don't apply yourself beyond the fact that there's money, there's no money?
I do, Chair. That is why I would raise those concerns with the line managers. That is why I will have internal controls that we put in place. I do not just rubber stamp in this particular regard. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. In future, please, man, make sure that you fund MK disturbance as much as you fund EFF disturbance. Now they're fighting here, wanting to know why you funded these ones small when you funded those ones big. Thank you.
I still stand by that commitment that the meeting must happen. Yeah. Okay, honorable members, we have the last four speakers. Honorable Mkhwanazi.
Thank you. Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Mine actually has to do with the 360 million rand tender. The first question is that when the General actually, in fact, in her testimony, she said that as CFO, she only comes into the picture at the last leg of the process of the tender to do payment. But now the people who actually initiate this tender process, do they actually consult you whether there is still money in the kitty for them to do what they want to do? Number two, I am actually not very happy with the standard procedure with which you actually do business with people out there. I don't think that you actually do due diligence in terms of actually knowing and investigating the background check. You do a background check of the people or potential people you want to do business with. Because otherwise, Mr. Matala would not have actually won this tender if the police were actually doing due diligence in terms of background check. You know, right now you ended up with egg on your face because Mr. Matala is here. He's a resident of this institution because he's a criminal. But the police went all the way out to actually grant him a tender for 360 million rand. How are you going to defend yourself when people start saying the police actually is captured by criminals because they are benefiting tenders from you?
Okay. Chair, if I may start with the first question. Annually, after we receive our annual allocation from National Treasury, we then embark on a process where we will then do what we call an internal apportioning, where we'll distribute through an approved methodology allocation of budgets to processes, to divisions in this particular regard. And the health risk manager is a service that is there in SAPS. It is budgeted for. think annually the budget is around 120 million in this particular. When it comes to the issues of checking background, I heard from the evidence that was led by General Fani to say the process needs improvement. In terms of this particular contract, the background check was not done, and it's something that should be a lesson that should be incorporated and improved in our processes to say this must be a must, it must not be optional. Thanks, Chair.
I still have time. Because if I still had time...
That is the last question you are asking.
Well, my last question would actually be to actually understand what actually prompted the National Commissioner to investigate this particular tender to a point where he deployed your internal audit, a structure within your department to investigate this. What prompted him to actually do so?
Other evidence that have been led is that time during December, the executive authority called the National Commissioner together with supply chain management and others, I believe legal services was there, due to the negative media coverage that the department was receiving in terms of this tender, and instructed that this must be investigated. The National Commissioner subsequently appointed a team of internal auditors together with the risk management to then conduct that investigation. The report came out, the preliminary report that indicated possible irregularities, and a final report was issued with recommendations that the accounting officer must consider cancelling this report. Yes, Chair.
Honorable Solis.
General, the fact that this contract was awarded to Mr. Matla, is this proof that SAPS has been infiltrated by criminals?
Chair, I can't comment on that. General Fani led evidence to indicate that at the time when they conducted the award, background was not done, and there was nothing in front of the BAC to determine that indeed the owner of the contract was a criminal. So, Chair, I can't vouch to say SAPS is captured. I'm saying those that are responsible for wrongdoing in SAPS must be held to account at any level, without any fear or favor. If anyone engages themselves with criminals and capture SAPS and corruption, the law must take its course without any fear or favor. Thanks, Chair.
I agree. You testified earlier that the minister had to speak to you directly and he didn't speak to you. You were not called by the minister. That's the words that you used. In terms of protocol and the chain of command, must the minister call you or your accounting officer, which is the National Commissioner?
Chair, I report directly to the accounting officer. There is nothing that prevents the minister can speak to all of us as executives, as long as the decisions and instructions would be known, and such meetings would have been authorized by the accounting officer. But in terms of protocol, most of us report to the accounting officer. Sometimes if we are then called, we will alert the accounting officer to say, there is this briefing, am I allowed to then attend this briefing, and it will be given. But there is nothing stopping the minister from engaging with officials in the department.
Sorry, General. So your answer is, he's not required to call you, he must call the National Commissioner.
There is nothing stopping the minister from engaging with officers in the department.
But he wasn't wrong in not calling you.
Sorry?
He was not wrong in not calling you, but he called the National Commissioner.
When, Chair?
All the meetings before us was with the National Commissioner. And
it will depend on what is being discussed in that particular meeting. I am saying in the meetings that dealt with the issues of the disbandment and so on and so on, I was not part of that because I was not invited. Obviously, the National Commissioner would have identified the relevant role players.
But it is the National Commissioner in protocol that the minister should be calling for a report.
There is nothing that prevents the
Okay,
minister.
just on that, before we go to there's nothing that prevents him, but what's the answer in what protocol? Must he call you or must he call the National Commissioner?
The minister can call any
But
official.
who, in terms of protocol, who must he call?
The minister normally engages at the level of the accounting officer,
Which is?
the National Commission.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible? General, 368 million spent on a one-day shutdown. Do you realize how many vehicles and printers and cell phones that money could have bought for police stations in vulnerable communities? How do you justify 368 million? What was the risk grading of the shutdown? And how long did it take you to approve this? That's my one question. My second question, you also have the January 8th state that was held earlier this year in Western Cape. General Sibia came here and he told us that the entire SAPS top brass descended on the Western Cape. And he told this committee is normal practice. It happens every year. Now I want to ask you, how much did it cost SAPS to have the entire top brass here for the ANC January 8th statement? Because that involves accommodation, that involves flights, and how do you justify? Please don't tell me you don't have an amount for January 8th, because that was yesterday. Thank you.
Chair, in terms of the evidence from General Sibia, Chair, I cannot vouch for that because I did not go to January 8th. So it might be incorrect that the entire executive management or management of SAPS went to the January 8th. I did not attend the January 8th in this particular regard. In terms of the risks, as I indicated, Chair, one of our responsibilities is to ensure that there is public order. We protect the safety of the inhabitants of this country as well as their properties. There would have been a proper security plan that would have informed the level of resources to police such down, and a request for us to support the work that would have been done by the operational environment would have been submitted in this particular regard. I do not believe that SAPS leadership would wake up and decide to then deal with things that they would have.
You're not answering my question. What was the risk rating?
I believe a high risk.
Excuse me?
High risk.
High risk,
Yes.
which is what?
Sorry, Chair.
High risk in terms of what? Because you said you allocated this budget to support the one-day
High
shutdown.
risk in
So if
terms
it's
of-
a high-risk event, what do you mean it's a high risk?
In terms of ensuring that there is public order and the properties as well as the safety as well as order where these
So you were
unrest were
protecting
taking
properties.
place. Chair, there is a security plan led by the operatives. I normally do not have sight to that particular security plan, and we trust that plans as well as discussions as well as
My time is
threat
almost up. How much did you
assessments-
spend on the
It is
January
not
8th
almost,
statement?
it is up.
How much did you spend on the January
Honourable
8th
Ngola.
statement?
Okay, thank you.
No, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. It is not me here. I must tell the people who were not part of our meeting during the break. I was instructed by these committee members to come and enforce 15 minutes on each one of them. So I was showing them the effect of their decision. And if there is anyone who has a problem, it was their decisions. You know, by my own standards, I'm a very benevolent chairperson. But when members say strictly 15 minutes, I enforce it, and I did that. And thank you very much, honorable members. SC, we want to thank you so much. What are your comments?
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable Member. Thank you, especially to my colleague, Sikalala. think she did a great job today. Thank you. Okay, you don't want to hear me. Is that mic not working? Can you hear me, Chair? Thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members. Thank you, General Dimpane.
Thank you.
And I want to thank especially my colleague, Ms. Sikalala. I think she did an excellent job today in terms of leading witness and making it possible for the committee to explore some further important aspects of the supply chain management, procurement procedures, very problematic. One weak link in the chain, and that's it, whether it's 350 million or 35 million or 3.5 million. We really need to check up our processes. But thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Zikalala, do you have anything you want to say?
No, Chair, thank you.
Okay. Let me thank you so much. When we gave you an opportunity last week to lead evidence, you did not disappoint us. You brought to the game. And today you continued with same form, more than that, showing prowess and exuberance. So we want to thank you so much. So much for that. That is how people make use of the opportunities when they are given to them, and you have demonstrated that women can do it. Lieutenant General Dimpane, kwa Limpopo ba re ngwana o tshwara thipa ka bogaleng. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, you must put the palm of your hand on the sharp, on the edge, the sharp edge of the knife. I don't have any question that I must ask you. I think the questions that the honorable members have asked you are adequate. You have been the CFO of this department. You know the period that you have been appointed up to now. I can only advise you to go back and look at the things that could have been done differently during your tenure as the CFO, so that when you move forward or in your upward mobility, they must not disable your movement. That is the only advice I can give. The rest is for you to decide what you do. When you are appointed to a position of leadership, there is only one choice that you must make. The choice to lead, because appointment itself is not sufficient. You must make the choice to lead. The women of this country and other women who may be occupying similar positions at senior management of the SAPS, you must be exemplary to many other women of this country that who are not appointed to this position
to clean after themselves. That's a big problem. Environmental cleanness is next to godliness.
Yeah, no.
Cleanness is next to godliness.
They will be here tomorrow. The first thing we do when we start the meeting,
Yeah, they made the prison dirty.
Yeah. Honorable Honorable Skhosana, may you please, I know you don't have eyes at the back.
Attend the complaint we have on DA sleeping at work last night, Chair. We finished the meeting at 11, they were sleeping. Please attend to it, Chair.
Yeah, no, I agree that the meeting finished at ungodly hours. Honorable members, the staff of Parliament, General Dimpane, members of the media and the South African public, we have unfortunately come to the end of today's proceedings. Let's meet here, Tshwane, tomorrow, 11 o'clock.